In this video on the RV Lifestyle channel, disappointment with my old cell phone booster.
Not holding up well. This is all rust. That noise becomes really irritating on the highway.
I install a new gadget that connects digital nomads to what may be the best online data deal available. I solve the problem of no blind spot detection, and I add a new camera that's better than a rear view mirror.
A few weeks ago, I installed the solid RF cell phone booster on our RV. It's unusual in that the amplifier part is mounted on the roof and the antenna installs right on it. I've been using it for a month and I am disappointed. It's not holding up well. This is all rust. After a month's worth, I've decided to take it out. It's not that big of an improvement over what I had. And this, it's too, no matter how much I tighten it down, hear that? It rattles. It does that, you know, the wind hits it, hear that? So you're driving down the road, and if you're going anything over 70 miles an hour, it's too hard to keep coming up here to tighten that thing down. I put Loctite on the various screws. Now it's going to be hard to get them off, but even that hasn't helped. So the results, okay, and while it works great if it's just in one system, if it's in one location, but when you're driving it down the road, it gets hit by branches and trees, no matter how careful you try and stay away from them, and that noise becomes really irritating on the highway. So, nice idea, but this cell phone booster, it's out of here. Here is yet another reason why I'm not going to recommend this solid RF cell phone booster. Look at this mess of residue it leaves behind. You would hear the amplifier and the antenna on a little metal plate, and they say use an adhesive called liquid nails. Well, I did. I removed the plate, but look at the mess. It takes forever to get this thing off. I'm using a product called Goo Gone, and that seems to be working, but good grief, what a mess. Removing that adhesive took me 1 full hour of scraping and scrubbing. So the cell phone booster is gone. But fear not, I have 3 other mobs I've just done to show you. The first involves this, a gizmo called the RoadLink Togo, and it joins my WineGuard Connect 2 to hook me to the internet. Togo is Mod 1. Let me explain. Well, let's explain first of all what they are. They're pretty much the same thing. Both the WineGuard Connect 2 and the Togo are Wi-Fi extenders. They gather up all the Wi-Fi signals in an area and bring them into your coach. And they are also 4G LTE routers. Now, the extender part for Wi-Fi works fantastic. They pick up Wi-Fi signals within a huge radius and actually help you then be able to extend your Wi-Fi range. That's handy at campgrounds or when you're accessing Wi-Fi at a public place like a Starbucks or a fast food restaurant. They both do that well. Now, the 4G LTE router part's pretty interesting on both of them. Contained in that dome is a multi-direction, high-efficiency antenna. Much more efficient of an antenna than the single antenna that a cell phone booster uses. Now, again, they don't boost the signal, but because it's so high up on the roof and because it has that better antenna, oftentimes the 4G LTE part of the router works better than a cell phone booster. So why do I have 2? Well, for redundancy, for one thing. If the AT&T system is down and the Verizon system is up, I've got that. If the AT&T system is good and the Verizon signal is not so good, I've got that. So I've got carrier redundancy. I've got a backup if one signal is not good from one provider. That's a pretty big deal when you're out on the road and you depend on the internet for connectivity. But there are a couple of other things. The Verizon data limit per month of use is 22 gigs. Same data limit on the AT&T system with Togo as well. But with the Verizon system, those 22 gigs are shared on all of my devices. So that means not just my data card, but my cell phone, Jennifer's cell phone, our iPad, and our 2 laptop computers. So that's 6 devices, and we use all of them daily that are going into that same 22 gigabyte data pool that I get every month from Verizon. And there are some months, if we've streamed some movies, if I've done some live feeds, that goes away, I lose it. And once you hit that 22 gig cap at the end of the month, Verizon throttles you. In other words, they slow your speeds down to 3G, sometimes even slower. And that's happened to me a couple of times with Verizon. Makes me angry. I think that they shouldn't do that, but hey, they can get away with it, they do. Now with AT&T, I have a 22 gigabyte cap as well. But only one device, that AT&T data card, is using those 22 gigs. So I don't have to share it with all my other devices. And so I'm delighted to have that part of it. Both of them have a different approaches to what happens when you reach that limit of 22 gigs. Verizon throttles you, slows you down automatically. With AT&T, you're not throttled. They put you into what they call network management. And that's a different thing than throttling. Yes, you might get it slowed if the cell phone tower you're accessing is particularly busy. Then they'll put you down in priority, and that might lower your speed. You pick up a different cell phone signal as you're driving, you go right back to normal speed. But here's why I am so excited about the Togo system. Price. It costs $360, paid in advance, and I get a year of unlimited data. That, I think, is the best bargain out there for RVers, particularly the digital nomads, the people who work from the road, like us, where we have heavy internet demands. If you're just using your RV occasionally, they have a monthly plan. You can go to that, or you can use another system. But for heavy-duty digital nomads, this $360 paid in advance for a year's access, it's the best deal out there. Okay, so that's what sold me on Togo. But next came the issue of how do I install it? I read the instructions, and Jennifer said, "You're not allowed to do this." She knows I'm not so good. When she read that you had to drill some holes and snake some wires through the coach, she said, "Get some help." So we got some professional help, and we drilled some holes. Where I am, radios, knobs, speakers, and things, and they are a stereo installer and seller of great audio for cars. I've used them before on some of our other RVs, and these guys are just great installers. I don't want to take a chance of putting all this stuff in and messing up with holes that aren't necessary, or worse yet, breaking anything. So it's always good, I think, at least for me, because I'm not the most handy guy in the world, to get some expert help. And we'll see what happens. Mark, the installer, is going to be up on the roof. He's going to do all of this for us, and I'll show you how it all goes together.
The way that will sit, it'll be kind of like sitting right there.
Where do we go now? We go.
We're going to go down here, and then we'll decide where you want the switch.
Perfect. Okay, we're done, at least with this project. All right, project number 2. One of the things that has frustrated us a little bit as we've traveled around with our Unity FX from Leisure Travel Vans has been a limitation on the Sprinter 2019 chassis put on by Mercedes. Most of the Mercedes Class B chassis have blind spot detection. But because this is wide-bodied, if you look here, you'll see that this part right here sticks out about 5 inches or so more. They did not include blind spot detection, and we've gotten very used to it. So I'm going to solve that problem by a third party. They heard one of our videos where we noted that we wish we had blind spot, and they said, here you go. So this is from Cub, and it's called the blind spot detector. And let me start by opening the box, and we'll show you what's inside. It consists of a control unit that connects with the diagnostic module under the dash. Right and left radar sensors mount at the back of the RV. Yeah, you gotta drill some holes, but they provide a template to line up and all the parts, screws, and wiring harnesses you need. Mark had no problem following the directions. So to hook that up for power, what do we have to do wire-wise?
Wire for the backup sensors, you need left turn signal, right turn signal, reverse wire, and ignition. Everything else goes, the main power comes from the OBD2 connector. On a 19 Mercedes or newer, might as well go to the tail lights, because you're running wires anyhow, and take them off from the tail lights. Easy to get.
Okay, RV mod number 3, a rear view camera. Now, the problem here is we have no rear window, and we're used to looking out in the Class Bs we've had before and seeing the road behind us. Now, the Mercedes Class Bs, the straight Class B vans, have a setting under systems in which you can call up that rear view camera, the one that all vehicles have a rear view camera. This one though, because again it's wide bodied, Mercedes won't let you call that up on demand. It only works when it's in reverse. So we'd like something that will allow us to always be able to see, and hence we've put in a rear camera with a 7-inch dashboard display. Okay, Jennifer, what's your verdict on the Togo antenna there?
I think it looks so much better than what you had, that big trucker's antenna that rattled and made a lot of noise and tree branches hit it. I like this. I think it looks neat.
Even though I drilled a hole.
Even though you drilled a hole, I think it looks better.
And I didn't drill the hole. Mark did, and he did a good job.
Mark did a good job. Well, that's good to hear.
All right, let me show you the other thing. This is going to be pretty neat. So you know how you wanted to have blind spot detection.
Yes.
All right, see these things right here in the back?
I do see those things on the back.
Yeah, look at those things. Those are basically kind of like radar, and it will tell you when a car is passing. And if you turn your turn signal on and you start to go into that lane, it'll beep.
Awesome.
So it's really good. There's 2 little sensors right on the doorpost. When you look at the mirror, you'd see those lights on. So you now have blind spot detection.
That is wonderful. I'm so glad that now we have this.
Okay, you can turn around now and see the third modification we did. We gave you something better than a mirror. Look at that. You've got a 7-inch monitor that shows you exactly what's behind you.
Who could ask for more? This is great. I can see what's going on behind me.
All right, so this has the Jennifer seal of approval.
Jennifer seal of approval. Well done.
Doesn't get any better than the Jennifer seal of approval. Hey, I'll put links to all of the gadgets that I just installed, and you can find out more information on it by just looking at the description below this video. Meantime, please do us a favor and subscribe to our RV Lifestyle channel right here on YouTube. I'm Mike Wendland. Thanks for watching, and happy trails.